I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this episode is being recorded and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Welcome to Can I Get a Refill, the podcast that offers a nurturing and inspirational space for honest and open discussions around career aspirations, wealth creation, motherhood, healthy relationships with others and the self, as well as an emphasis on physical, mental and spiritual well-being. Join us for light-hearted, authentic chats with like-minded women, as well as more in-depth discussions with industry professionals to support your ambitions and heal old wounds, as we empower you to regularly fill up your own cup. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton, singer, writer, recovering people pleaser, first-time podcast host, and first-time mum. Thank you for pressing play today, and now let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. This is a very special episode. It's the first one I'm recording since giving birth. If you've been following the journey, if you can hear that noise in the background, that is Leo. Leo, welcome to the podcast. I've just told him that little cute noises are okay, but the screaming and crying, because he's a colic baby, will not be appreciated. It's extra special. We're here with our regular friend Harmony. Harmony's just come back from a holiday in Bali and just got engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We normally have tea in our cups. It's 10:30 in the morning on a Friday and we have champagne because this is a very, and don't write in, I'm bottle feeding my child, so it's allowed. My nipples did not comply. Breastfeeding is not happening. Do not write in. Super special episode. It is 29 degrees outside today. We'll be airing this on Tuesday, which will be September. This is the end of August. We both love spring. We both love new beginnings. We've both had major life updates since we last saw each other. Great time to start this new podcast. But it's, as I was saying to you when you came, I have just jumped into the parenting thing head on and loved it. And all my friends are like, oh, you're doing so great. And then the last week has been tears from all three of us in this house because poor little Leo has colic and reflux, and he was normally just this beautiful little child that just sat there and just and he's just been screaming and writhing in agony in all his waking hours, but okay at night. So we've had a few hours sleep, which is great, but it's been tough. I had a little tear in the bedroom before you came, and I was going to text you to cancel, and I was like, oh, no. There's tougher things in life you can push through. And I was just telling you that Leo was delivered in the Royal in Renwick by Yana Pittman, who...
That's crazy.
What
the hell?
I almost feel like Alan and I were talking that bit up too much and we should be focusing on our child, but we were both so awestruck when she walked in because she introduces herself. She was so great. The birth was so good, but I'll talk about that more later. But, yeah, double Olympian, then went into midwifery, I think, and is now an obstetrician. But that woman has 6 kids of her own, has managed to do all that and get a medical degree. And here I am crying in the bedroom about recording a podcast for half an hour. And I was like, suck it up, bitch. There's tougher things. We can do it. We can pause and we can soothe him if he's crying. But he's being a little angel right now. So
he's beautiful.
We progress. But before we get into it, just before we did our last recording, I think it was the manifesting episode, you were about to go to Bali. And I was like, when you said you got engaged, I was like, this bitch didn't tell me anything, but apparently you weren't the proposer. So please tell me you went away with your partner, Priska, and tell me about the holiday and the proposal.
Oh, it was just so cute. So we got to Bali, we were there for a couple of days, and then she...
Whereabouts, by the way?
South Bali, what is it? Uluwatu.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I've never been there before. It was beautiful.
Oh. I've only been once. I'm no expert.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went around the resort and then she proposed to me. So, cute and awkwardly.
They're always cute and they're always awkward. And I think it's nice because I think the real polished ones are...
Yeah, too smooth would be a bit...
Too smooth. Because I remember saying to Alan, please do not do it in front of a lot of people.
Oh, my God.
And I should have known he was about to propose because he's a chill guy and he was so unnerved and shaky and nervous. And as soon as because we were eating at this restaurant I love in Newtown. Baba, I'll pick you up in 2 secs. And as soon as he proposed, he was like, oh, I can eat now because he was so nervous.
Oh, did he think you were going to say no?
No. He's just nervous with
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. And I would be too. I'm so glad I never had to do it. Wait, I'm going to pick him up. Hold that thought. Okay, my friend, carry on. how the proposal went.
Yeah.
She was awkward and nervous.
She was so
and, yeah.
awkward. She gave me the box. She's like, I bought you something because I want you to have it because I want to marry you. And then it was really cute. And she was like saying all the things. I opened it and the ring's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, it's not. Oh, I didn't even look at it. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
How odd that I didn't even say, let me see the ring. It is so pretty. It's so elegant. I love it.
Yeah, well, she meant it as a place setter only, and then I'd choose my ring, but I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah,
I love simple.
so
I
good.
think
Yeah.
they're elegant. That is so nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Did you know it was coming? I feel like
No.
with Alan and I had picked the ring 2 years prior. So for 2 straight years, it was any day now. Do you know what I mean? But was surprised on the day. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, I had beforehand been getting lots of Instagram advertising targeted at engagement rings because we're on the same Wi-Fi.
Oh my gosh, that is oh man.
And I told her about it, and then she went weird and awkward as well. I was like, "Are you looking at engagement rings?"
Sometimes though they'll just target you because of your age and stuff.
Oh,
do you know what I
maybe.
mean? Like think, they're in. Well, my algorithm at the moment is nothing but baby content, and
Yeah,
like I never
yeah,
wanted it,
exactly.
and now I just now I love it because it's hilarious. You just send it to your friends who also have had babies. Shout out to my friend Tam. 2 or 3 in the morning when you're doing feeds, and you just like they get it, you get it, you need it to have a laugh. You know what I mean?
It was beautiful though. She really went all out. She asked like my parents and my brother and my best friend for their blessing. Not their permission, but their blessing.
Honey, you and I are just sisters and brother, mister. Alan did that with my dad. I had mentioned at the beginning, my dad's, Sicilian, born in Sicily in the 50s, so like tradition like that is important to him. But I obviously, as a staunch feminist, hate anything that's sort of
I'm not
ownership.
property,
so I had said it'd be nice if you could ask my dad for his blessing.
Yeah,
not
well,
his
I never
permission.
mentioned that to her. She just did it, and
that's
it meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to them.
She gets you.
Yeah.
You know, when like you don't, when it's your person, you don't have to specify. They just get it.
Exactly.
You know. God, that's so lovely.
Yeah, I know.
Are you in the engaged bubble? I loved being engaged. I thought it was fun and exciting.
Well, I thought, because I've seen a couple of my friends get engaged, and like half my clients.
Yeah.
I thought there's like an organic progression of what you do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know, the government sends you the pack of like how to get married and all the things you need to do.
I don't remember getting that.
No.
So I loved being engaged. I love the proposal, but I'm going to do a wedding episode because I hated the wedding. I just don't like all that obligation. I just found it
I'd
really
hate that,
overwhelming.
yeah.
So I just wanted the engagement to just go on and on. So
Yeah.
but it's fun being engaged.
Well,
is
we
fun.
haven't planned anything at all.
Yeah.
Like I've had clients and family, my mum especially, is like asking me about things.
That's their duty. I hope I'm not like that one day, but it's their duty, isn't it?
The questions, and then I'll go home and like tell her the question that we've got now, and she'll be like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
We got no idea.
Did you say yes? Do you remember what you said? Because I was all like weird because it was in a restaurant. There was only just one other couple there. It was quiet, but I was I just giggled and then hugged him. And then when we were at the end of the night, I was like, I didn't actually say yes, but the answer is yes because do you remember what you said?
Well, she was talking because when she's nervous,
Yeah.
which happened a lot when we first started dating, she would just talk herself into a hole. And I love how, like, where she gets to, uninterrupted.
Yeah.
So I'll just sit there and listen, and she'll be like, you can stop me anytime. I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing where you get.
Oh, that's
But
so
she was,
cute.
like, talking and talking. She gave me the box, and I opened it, and I was looking at the ring, and I was, like, waiting for, like, do you want to put this on me or should I put it on myself?
Yeah.
Like, but she was talking. I couldn't hear anything she was saying. And then she's like, stopped herself. She's like, is that a yes? I was like, yeah. You didn't ask me anything, but yes.
You know, even when it's a guaranteed yes, I think it's still a nerve-wracking thing. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad I never had to propose because I I get nervous for everything. I'm like a sweater and a verbal diarrhea person. So glad I never had to do it. Okay, so today we're talking about spring cleaning your life for more success, abundance, and positive energy. So you and I are so in sync with this, and we talked about this sort of in the manifesting episode where when your life is cluttered, like when your space is cluttered and a mess, or your thoughts are cluttered and a mess, your life is cluttered and a mess. And I think the best way definitely for abundance and success and just good positive energy, you need to clear out the gunk. You need to clear out what's no longer serving you to welcome in what is. I know Louise Hay talked about that. I think it was Louise Hay. If someone's trying to attract a mate and they've got no space in their wardrobe for them or no space in their bed. A friend of mine said, I'm never going to find someone because my big, giant, gorgeous dog is in the bed next to me. She's like, I think I'm okay with it though. Yeah. So I think if there's something you're trying to bring in, make space. Yeah. So we've got multiple ways. Some won't be surprised to use, some might be. But you know how at New Year's you start really fresh and everyone does the goals, and I like doing this. I do at New Year's, but I also like doing this in spring. I like to refresh like my vision board or my goals, or a lot of people will say, oh, you can do this once a month or, once a season. I wouldn't be doing it once a month. But for me personally, I feel like it would lose its special feeling, or it would feel like a chore. But once every season, because every season's so different in your life, especially if you listen to the last episode about cyclical living. So I feel like spring is just fresh, new beginnings. And the last week, I just feel so happy and looking forward to life once that warmth comes. And that I got that first whiff of jasmine on my walk the other day. And
I love
that. The first whiff of jasmine and the first mango of the season is like what I live for all year. I'm like, yes, this is it. But, and I love when it's daylight savings and you can go out for a post and a walk at 7 p.m. and the sun's up. And Alan and I do our walks along the beach and we talk about our goals for life, and you just come home positive instead of like dark at 5 p.m. watching Netflix all night. So,
exactly, and cold.
Yeah, you just feel good. So I'm feeling great energy despite a bit of sleep deprivation and a very sad baby this last week. But so we're going to talk about a few ways you can declutter your life. So Harmony, jump on in there and read out the first one for us.
Okay, so the first one is to start by decluttering your space, such as cleaning out unwanted items in your wardrobe, throwing out expired food from the back of the cupboard or the fridge, and going through your bathroom cabinet and throwing out crumbling eyeshadow palettes and sunscreen that expired in 2011. Your space can also include your car or your desk at work.
Yeah, absolutely. So the space is number one where everyone starts. I like to start with my wardrobe personally. I have a theory that if you haven't worn it in the last 18 months, you're probably not going to wear it. Having given birth, it's a bit of a different thing because you're in between sizes. I'm not my pregnant body and I'm not my normal body. So I'm like, what do I wear? It's really just loose-fitted stuff at the moment. But I do this regularly, and I sell things on Depop and eBay, and then if it's a bit dingier, like not resellable, I might give it to Vinnie's, or if there's holes in it, it goes in the bin. But I do it regularly, but I looked the other day because I've got his stuff in the wardrobe now too, so I'm really trying to make extra space. And I had a dress there. Do you know when I last wore this dress? It was like mesh, like large fishnet, right? Like flowing, like long arms, like bat wings, but like a tight mini dress underneath it. It was a cool looking dress. The last time I wore that was mid-2013 at a Lady Gaga concert. I haven't worn that dress in 11 years. So every time I go in my wardrobe for 11 years, I'm like, I might wear that. But you know what my thing is? Because I do singing gigs while I'm on a little pause at the moment, you need sort of more wild outfits for singing gigs. So I hold on to things that I would never wear to an event, thinking I may need that if I get a club gig. Or, like I used to sing at King's Cross in these clubs at like 2 a.m. So you're wearing like your skankiest outfits. And I hung on to them for so long thinking I might need it for a singing gig. But I just gave that one to Vinnie's because I'm like, 11 years, you have worn out your welcome. So do you sell clothes or do you?
No, I give them to Vinnie's usually.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's a good one at Cronulla. They're really friendly in there too. Well, I sell on Depop. I'm sure a lot of you have an account there, and eBay. I sort of get 50-50. I think eBay's fees are a little bit higher, but sometimes I get more response. And I think it's a real I really like to do a really good karma energy thing. So I think I mentioned this in manifesting. I like to close off a chapter. So something that's been good to me but not needed now. I think Marie Kondo did this too, right? I thank it for how it served me and, and then I pass it on with love and gratitude to the next person. So when I sell things, I always reply, I have like 100% rating. It's very important to me on eBay and Depop. I send them a DM straight away and I include a little love note. So I wrap the item in tissue paper. If I have like leftover sachets and samples of things that I might have, like little protein powders or moisture, I put them in there. Cute. And then I put a little love note and I'm like, dear such and such, thanks so much for your purchase. I hope you love your new dress and I hope it brings you beautiful memories. I had a woman once, I sold this beautiful purple Shona Joy dress, which was really nice. Never wore it. So I, took a bit of a financial hit there, but it didn't suit girls with hips. I don't know why I bought it. It was a skinny girl's dress. And I sent it to this lady and she replied straight away with a photo of her wearing it. She said, my daughter, I feel like I'm going to cry. She's like, my daughter told me I look like a real life Disney princess in this. Thank you so much. I have goosebumps. That was such a beautiful exchange. So I like to release things with love and I would love to open something with a little love note. So
yeah, it's so cute.
It's
too.
good. It's
unexpected.
It's nice little karmic energy. So if you've got something that's good, not worn much, or definitely a tag on it. I have so many things with tags on them because I used to just shop not very mindfully.
Yeah.
Sell it on Depop or eBay. Otherwise, you can give it to Vinny. So that's a good way to clear out. And I think the thing too with body image, a lot of us hang on to things thinking, I should still fit into that, or maybe one day I will. You know what? I'm 41. I'm not going to wear the outfits I wore when I met Alan when I was 31 and I was super, super fit with no hips. Do you know what I mean?
But the styles changed as well.
Styles changed. But I'm like, why am I hanging on to this memory? I've got photos of memories of me where I had this really nice tight backless dress and I'm like, that's not my body anymore and that's okay. So I sold it to a girl and she loves it because, that's the stage she's at. So stop trying to cling to an idea that you should be in something. You should, what's that expression where, your clothes should fit you, not you should fit your clothes.
Yes.
So I'm buying clothes that fit my body now and I feel great in them.
And your lifestyle and
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely the cupboard. I had things in there. Actually, I had this thing for like infected ears the other day I put out. That's why I put that in there. It expired in 2011. I'm like, so I moved into this house in 2016. I actually actively brought that with me from the last house. So anything you've got that's no longer serving you is just not productive energy, and you're not going to be successful if you're clinging to things like those creepy old people on A Current Affair that are hoarders and collect newspapers.
Yeah. And you've got no space then for to see your stuff.
Yes.
So you don't know what you've got. Then you go and buy something that you already have.
Yes. My goal is to have enough space in the wardrobe though that things aren't just like tight. I want space where I can see them that, I definitely need.
You'll wear them more as well.
I think so. And then you don't have to iron because they'll be hanging beautifully. And your car and your workplace as well. Anywhere where you are, that's your chi. So I also like to do an energy cleanse of smudge stick and Palo Santo. That's not for everybody. That could be a bit woo-woo, but I do this maybe once a month, or if I've had visitors, I like to do in the morning, I do smudge stick and put beautiful music on and I walk around the house clockwise and I say, I rid this home of negative energy. Then in the afternoon, I do Palo Santo and I go, I welcome in positive energy. So I feel a physical lift in energy when I do that, but that's maybe not everyone's
My mum's all
cup of
about
tea.
that.
Really?
She makes me do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I've got both of those things and I'll do it. But I love the smell of the Palo Santo.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's like my favourite.
I was just going to say which one. I adore the Palo Santo smell.
It's so fresh. I love it.
I just think it's the most beautiful smell. I loathe the smell of white sage and I have to put a face mask on because it's so intense.
Yeah, it's
and
not fun.
One of my best friends is like, she gets a headache from Palo Santo and loves white sage. And I'm like,
oh, really?
I find sage so. And Alan comes home, you've been cleansing because he hates the smell of it.
Yeah, my mum's like, I do it to appease her, I guess. But I do love the smell of the Palo Santo.
Oh, it's so lovely.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing.
So declutter your wallet to allow fresh funds to flow in.
Yeah, so the first podcast I ever listened to was Manifestation Babe by Catherine Zenkina, and one of her earlier books, one of her steps to attract. She talks about attracting $1,000 because it's good to do micro steps. Once you achieve that 1,000, it feels viable, so then you can have bigger goals. One of the steps in there is to clear out your wallet. I never used to think about that. And a lot of us now might not even use wallets. You might just tap your phone. But I had like old receipts, and when I send things to Depop or eBay, I keep the receipt from the post office just to prove that it's been delivered. So much crap in there. I had keys to like a workplace like 3 jobs ago. Do you know what I mean? So especially financially, if you're bringing in good energy, clear out what's no longer needed and let it feel neat. When things are neat, they have good energy attached. You want good energy attached to money, not stagnant energy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I like to keep a note of some sort. I've just got a $10 note in there at the moment because that reminds me that I am abundant. Do you know what I mean? So, no one really uses cash anymore except when I get a massage. But, that sounds weird. But, it's a legit massage.
This girl's stressed.
I am. It's all the feeding. My neck's so tight. I thought not being on the laptop I'd be better, but it's the hunched over to feed. It's really bad. But that's a really good thing to clear up the wallet.
My dad always said, the way you put the notes in the wallet as well.
Yes, you said that in manifesting, and I loved that. Your parents have really good ideals and stuff like that.
For sure.
Because you're treating the money with respect and care.
So more money wants to come in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that, treat money like a partner. If you're saying, treating it like shit or crumpling it up or saying I never have enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That partner's not going to feel valued or love you. So, yeah. Cool. What's next?
So do a deep clean of your technology, such as screenshots in your phone, old apps you no longer use, old files on your laptop, desktop, and action and file away emails in your inbox.
What's your technology like?
Mate, that is every morning whenever I'm by the time I get to my phone, all the emails I get, because I have 4 different email things all in one.
Yeah. Oh, they all come in the same inbox?
Yeah, I've got a shared inbox for all of those email addresses. So today we'll have however many. I'll go through all of them and they're deleted or filed away. I have an unlimited amount of
same person.
files. I just can't, because if I've got it would just, my mum has 793 emails in her inbox. Can you just
stop taking words out of my mouth? Oh my God, Harmony, we are so identical. I was going to say there's 2 types of people in the world, and my mum and my husband have those inboxes that tell me you get anxiety when you look at them.
How can you understand what you're looking at?
How can you reply to people in a timely manner?
You can't.
I even went into my mum's emails years ago, she was aware of it, and created folders, and I'm so that you can action them and file them in. And I'm so type A personality, anal with stuff like this at work. And I just did, before maternity leave, a handover to these 2 girls, and they're killing it. And they're your handover doc is so thorough, because you need things to be just neat and explained. But the emails, I'm you can't even file things away if they haven't been marked as read. You have to,
Yeah.
And Alan's inbox is just a schmozzle. And I'm how do you know what you've actioned and what you haven't? And sure enough, I'm did you get my email? Oh, no, I didn't see it. Well, of course you didn't see it, because it's just a dump in there. Emails are number 1 for me.
Yeah.
I do like to do, when you're sitting on the couch watching a movie that maybe you've seen before and you don't need to concentrate as much, which is why I love watching Parasite, that Korean film, because I'm because of the subtitles, you're forced to watch the TV and not look at your phone. It's the only time, or in the cinemas, it's the only time I really pay attention. If you're scrolling through, I now go through all my photos, because with him, Jesus Christ, I swore I would never be that person with the baby photos, and it's 50 a day. And there's screenshots you take that sit there forever. So now I'm actively deleting screenshots. So.
I do mine in real bulks. I don't know what it gets, what has to happen for me to be in my photos.
Yeah.
But I do massive clear outs of things.
Yeah.
Because I just hate having a pile of shit just there. I hate shit drawers. Oh, Priska has a shit drawer in every room, and that's the drawer that just you put things in, and if you can't find it, you go through the shit drawer to have a look.
But this is why you and I have never got together, because you have to have the yin and yang. Alan's got it's just collates crap, and it's always the yin and yang. And I only had one partner who was neat, and he was a really annoying person. So I think it's the yin and yang. You got to have one organised person.
Organised and clean and
whatever.
She
looks like she'd be the really organised one.
She is. But there's a shit drawer somewhere.
Yeah, I guess we Monica and friends had she was so anal, but had the Monica closet that everything was cramped in. I think.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I'd have to say my laundry is probably that place. People are coming, throw it. But I do like to keep things. I do like the minimalist thing. I like my kitschy things on the wall, but I do like the minimalist feel, because I feel calm. I was born in 83. So anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s knows that their nan's house was a dust collector full of those china cabinets and knick-knack. And I had all the little figurines when I was a kid, and you were dusting constantly with all little things. And I love now that I have nothing on surfaces and I can just wipe it and not pick up things.
Yeah.
And like when I walk into those houses that have knickknacks, I actually feel a bit anxious, like anxious energy, because it's just so much going on. And I always feel calm in this home because it's just like...
You've got to look at so much, and something can be hiding right in front of you. With knickknacks,
but it is overwhelming. It's like being in a shopping centre. You're looking at so much. It's overwhelming. Yeah, so going through the phone. And I actually did apps the other day, especially with this podcast. Like I have like...
I should do that.
Yeah, and this is a good thing to save money too. You don't realise what you're actually got that you're spending money on. So like... I use Splice, but I was also using Video Editor, and Video Editor was coming up. I have to pay $35 just for the yearly. That's not much, but I was like, I was using that just to speed up the videos, and now notice that Splice now has the thing to speed it up. So I just got rid of Video Editor and deleted it off my phone. So things are just really like clean and succinct now. I don't need to have multiple things. So yeah, go through your apps, and actually that sort of leads me to the next one. So I'll just talk about it. There's streaming services like.
I just recently did a clear out of that.
You did?
Because we like combined our finances, and I had like Netflix and I had Stan and Prime and Binge, and she had Netflix and
they
Disney.
Add up.
Man, it's so expensive.
Disney's $18, and I would say I have just Netflix, Stan, and Disney.
Yeah.
And I would say that I think Disney's the most expensive at 18, and
I got rid of it.
We only go in there to watch Marvel films, or I like to watch Christmas films at the end of the year. But I have a thing, if I want to watch my favourite like childhood films and can't, and if I need to watch something, I need to watch it now. So I'll go to YouTube and buy them for like $15, but then that's mine to own for years. So I find that I'm watching movies on my YouTube collection more that kind of want to get rid of Disney, but Alan's a major Marvel geek who would never let me.
YouTube has like a subscription thing though, don't they?
They do. I'm thinking I want to look at, what's that Hamish Blake one that he talks about, Hubble or something? I want to look that up. I don't know anything about it, but maybe there's a way to, because I'm maternity leave. I'm earning a hell of a lot less. I'm like, where can I cut things? So it's a good way for your finances, but it's just a good way to streamline things. You want to know what costs you've got coming out of your account.
It really adds up, because we have Spotify as well, and like Microsoft Office, like all of that stuff.
I never had Spotify until a year ago. I'm such a dinosaur. I used to purchase songs on like iTunes and have no playlist. Yes, Alan thinks I'm so embarrassing. And then so we combined the Spotify thing.
Yeah, the partner thing.
Yeah, and then it's, we have Foxtel as well because we're big footy lovers. So like, all right, what's next on the list? Sorry, little dude.
So do a social media refresh. Have a look at the pages you follow and decide if the content is inspiring you.
That's another thing I do when I sit on the couch clearing out screenshots. I go through, because like, when did you join Instagram? Mine was 2014, so that's 10 years ago.
I think mine was like 2018 or something.
Right, and so many of the pages might be bots, or they closed. They haven't done a post since 2016. So I'll go through and I'm like, oh, I'm just following like the things I don't need to. So when I unfollow them and see the number shrink, I feel so good, like I've gone for a run. It feels good energy.
Energized.
But I think also like in an emotional state, you're not at the same phase of life every year. So, if I'm watching like full fitness influencers while I'm at home feeding my baby at 2 a.m. and my body doesn't look how it used to look, it might motivate me, because I am so excited to go back to the gym. Today is 6 weeks on the dot for me, so I'm now officially able to exercise. So I'm going back to the gym in 2 weeks. I'm going to do 2 weeks of home circuits, like 1 week of like body weight circuit, another week of wide bell circuits and strength, just to, you don't want to push it and then do yourself a disservice. But I'm at a different phase of my life. So if I'm watching, like skinny 20-year-olds with really great abs, good for them. I love seeing people do their thing, but that might make me feel bad about myself. So
motivate you.
Yeah, so do an unfollow of anything that's not inspiring or aspiring, And as I said, you're at a different phase all the time. So it might have been inspiring to you in 2015, but it might not be now. So I think it's good to do a little refresh.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you do that?
I don't follow many people as it is. Like I only really follow people I'm in contact with.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not always on social media. I do it for the businesses, and then
Alan's like that. So you don't follow all the celebrities like I do? How do you know when celebrities are getting divorced? Have you heard about J-Lo and Ben Affleck?
Yeah. Priska tells me all about it.
Well, I follow news pages because I don't watch the news. I find it really just doom and gloom. So I'm like, if I need to know what's going on in the world, I can see it and then I can choose not to click on it or not. But then some days I'm like, oh, I can't believe I follow these news pages. Like
news is not for me.
They're doing it on purpose to get a rise out of you and people to write angry comments. And I'm like, this doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Priska's grandma is the news, like human form, so I don't need any more.
That is so cute. I love that.
Yeah, no, social media, I like, if I break up with an ex, I'll delete them and everyone I know through them. Or
you don't block? I block.
No, I don't block because like then what will happen? Like,
yeah.
If they contact me, I'll just ignore it. Or
yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't mind.
I think
seeing
because
what it is.
mine's public page, and I'm like, so
yeah.
I actually have this thing now, especially as a mum. How years ago you'd look at this cutie. I used to go to the movies and tag on Facebook at Broadway watching, but now I'm like, oh my God, imagine if I had a stalker and I've literally tagged where I'm at and they can just walk in and find me. So now if I tag a place, I do it once I've left. I went to Byron last week and I tagged where I was at once we were in the car on the way home because I'm like, well, I don't know, I've got thousands of followers. I don't know everyone individually. What if I have a stalker? So
I think some insurance providers as well, they check your social media before they pay out a claim. Because if you've given that information.
So do jobs you're applying for.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
When you put it on private while you're on sick and then you unprivate. I've totally done that. Because, they might think, oh, she's a party girl. She won't show up on Monday, but that's totally not me.
They're not allowed to do that anymore, I think.
But yeah, no, I don't think I block exes. Maybe one. Okay, what's next?
Take inventory of your current relationships.
Now, I feel like every episode comes back to the same theme where we talk about boundaries. And I think it's always good to look at your relationships because you could get a little bit habitual and you're seeing people just out of habit and they might have been so great for you when you were 20 and partying, but maybe now it doesn't suit your phase of life, or maybe you're going for, businesses and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to make your million out of that.
Yeah.
You do have to assess how you feel once you drive home from having dinner with them. I think that's the number one thing of how do you feel in those relationships? Are they making you feel, when you see your best girlfriends, you feel like you've had cheerleaders around you and you feel uplifted. So I don't want to keep harping on about this in every episode where people are like, oh, she's encouraging dumping. I'm not encouraging dumping anyone, but I'm encouraging looking at things that make you feel good. And if there's an issue, talking to the person about it, and if it's ongoing and they're not going to change, but maybe it's a family member you want to keep in contact with because it's family, maybe just having a little step back, and taking a bit of you time. I think that's really important. And I think that's something with age. We've talked about that.
Yeah,
for sure. Get a bit older.
Have a look at your current diet and decide if this reflects the diet of your ideal future self.
Yeah, and this is not about a body image thing at all. I'm not about that. This is about health. And, all right, I'm sitting here in the morning having champagne for the first time ever, but I do have a cleanse of my diet and look at, I don't drink like I used to, or I don't do things that don't uplift me. And I think it's about, you want to go through your fridge and your cupboard and think how many things are full of additives that are probably making me feel sluggish. So that's a health thing. I'm not an expert. Do whatever suits you. But I like to look at my diet. A lot of red meat doesn't feel good for me. A lot of anything that's like that fake diety thing, this doesn't feel like a Diet Coke or something would make me feel really crap. So I think, look at how many whole foods you're having. So now that I'm home more, I can look at, freshly making food and I'm feeling really good energy-wise. So actually I want to get back. I had Latoya and Jessie, naturopath and nutritionist, on the show because we haven't recorded all through August, and not just because I had a baby, because Mercury was in retrograde. The last time Mercury was in retrograde was heavy, April. Yeah. I did a recording, a great episode over an hour with a naturopath and nutritionist to give everybody tips on their physical health because, can I get a refill? It was about refilling your physical or your emotional or your mental. And it didn't record the audio because we tested the audio, but I was only my third episode. I was very green and Mercury was in retrograde, which can really stuff up communication. I did press record, but I had the wrong output. So it was recording only off the laptop, not off the mics. But when we played back, we could hear the testing in the mic, but I didn't look at the thing that was selected because I didn't know how to use the equipment properly back then. No. So that's another reason why I haven't had them back, but I will have them back, and they can give you proper advice on your diet and nutrition. But for me, I just think Louise Hay used to say, it's really very simple. If it grows, eat it. If it doesn't grow, don't eat it. So she just, she had cancer and healed her body of it because she just thought the more natural, the better. And our parents grew up in a generation of like meat and 3 veg, and everything that we eat, so much comes out of a package. And I just think if you're looking at all areas of your life, you can, meditate and you can exercise. But if you're having really like lots of additives and prepackaged foods, you might be feeling sluggish. So
yeah,
diet's definitely one of them. But again, I'm not a professional. That's just what works for me.
Yeah, exactly. We add like bone broth to things.
I love
and like
bone
adding
broth.
Stuff as well. Like
yes, adding stuff for gut health. Bone broth is fantastic. Have you had that bone broth body glue stuff where it's like, it's something like that, but it's like a mayo, but it's made from bone broth. Now, I can't eat mayonnaise because it makes me I've got a sensitive tummy. It makes me feel sick. This bone broth stuff is so good, and it's so expensive per jar, and I go through it so quick.
Really? What, do you use it like a mayonnaise?
Yeah. Or you can add, it's got like a turmeric flavour one. You can add a spoonful to like a stir fry or a stew.
Oh, yeah, that's the one we use. It's like a garlic and Italian herbs one.
Nourish Organic up at
Yes,
Cronulla.
yeah.
I can't remember the brand now, but oh my God, I love it so much.
Yeah.
We only have 2 more. Oh, sorry, Bubba. He keeps jumping when I move.
Assess your routine and schedule and decide if everything is part of the life you desire or just in there out of habit.
Yes. I think this is really, really important because my biggest problem, and this is what's come up with being a mum, I'm stressing every day because I'm not ticking everything off my list. And I say to Alan, I feel like a failure. I'm just putting too much on my list every day. And I have to respect the season I'm in and where I'm at, and I can't do everything. They say women, we can do everything, just not all at once. So I think you have to look at your routines. Are you putting too much? And B, are they healthy? So I'm trying to squeeze in. It's really hard with him, but I love my meditation, and that's something that really, it calms my breathing. 10 minutes of sitting and doing that, and I get through the day better. And you're very hormonal after giving birth, and my emotions are all up and down like they used to be when I was on the pill or like when I was a teenager. So it's hard. And if I do those little things and take 10 minutes here and then 15 minutes to do a stretch, and then every day I put him in the pram and do a walk along the beach, and that's stuff that's really important to me. But a lot of the time, it could be habitual, like how long are you sitting and scrolling through your phone, or how long are you doing something that you think you should be doing? It's more that you're not mindful. You're doing something that you've just always done it, and then you think, is it serving
like
my
muscle
life
memory?
Now? Muscle memory, yeah.
That's like before I sold the Cronulla salon.
Yeah.
I was in like a habit of checking things, like checking emails and messages from like the staff and then messages from the clients and like all of the stuff. It took me so long after I sold the Cronulla salon to just stop my brain from checking. I just kept looking for what am I
reckon
missing.
it's not even your brain. I reckon, as you said, it's muscle memory.
Yeah,
I reckon
weird.
You're not, they say the best way to live is mindful, and I don't do that enough. I'm working towards that, but a lot of the time I'm up in my head thinking about the next step, and my body's just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying in this maternity leave to stop. And like I noticed it before you came over, I'm feeding him in a rush. He didn't like it. I didn't like it. When I'm in the moment and making eye contact with him, it's a beautiful moment because he like stares up at you. It's like the cutest face. And I'm like rushing something to get to the next thing. That's not being mindful. And a lot of digestive issues, I've seen naturopaths where they're like, you got to do mindful eating. And I had a Zoom meeting with one once, and she made me eat an olive on the Zoom meeting with her, and she's like, now chew it. And I had to do like 20 chews, and I'm like, yeah, I don't eat like this. I am like shoved, because I always eat whilst working so that I can go for a walk on my lunch break.
Oh, okay.
And I shove food and I do not mindfully eat. And I've always had digestive issues. And the second I stop and mindfully chew each bite and feel the flavours going down, I feel healthier. So looking at your routines, being mindful about them, not rushing through to, get to
just
the next
ticking
thing.
Things off the list.
Off.
Yeah.
But looking at stuff that, is it something you want to do? Is this workout thing right for you? Or is there something that would suit you better in this phase of life?
And being consistent with the things that are working.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Very hard when you're a new mum. I get it now. Do you know, it's funny. I watch these 2 vloggers on YouTube. One's a mum, one's not. And when I watch the one who's not now, I'm like, this is how mums used to look at me, like, shut up, bitch. You've got no problems. But she's, like, she just has to go to yoga and do this, and then she'll stress if something didn't arrive in the mail in time, and I'm like sitting there with spit up on me, and I'm like, I wish I had that problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole schedule is so different. I get it. But throwing no shade at people without kids, that was me for so long, and I still feel like that person just with him attached. And what's our final point for the spring clean?
Finally, spring clean your mind and thought patterns.
I bet you no one thought that this was going to be in the episode when I talk about spring clean. People think about your space. I will tell
Physical
you now,
things, yeah.
this is the most important one on the list. I probably should have done it first, but no, ending the first and the last one is the most important because you remember it. I was just listening to, do you ever listen to Lewis Howes, his podcast? He's absolutely one of my favourite. And you know when you see people and they feel familiar, he feels like a brother from another mother. Like,
oh, really?
He just feels, and he's my age, and I'm like, I just feel like I know you. The things you're saying resonate with me so much. I adore him. And he had, I was watching it on YouTube, a guy named Price Pritchett, and he was talking about thought patterns of people and how they're so habitual. And 70% of your thoughts you're not even thinking about. It's like that muscle memory thing where I always have a chronic pain in my neck. I can't tell you how many times I wake up and I'm like, oh, my neck hurts. Oh, and you start your day with the same thing because it's familiar, it's habitual. And you don't even realize if they're negative, you are absolutely setting that tone for the day. So when I'm mindful and I'm now catching myself and saying, I am feeling well. I had, a few hours sleep. I'm feeling good. So if I'm mindful about it, which is why what you're consuming with content matters too. So if I'm watching, YouTube clips that are about affirmations and about manifesting, I catch my thoughts better. And he said this really poignant thing that really stuck with me. I only watched it this week, and he was talking about, what do you think is more important for a healthy, successful life? Adding positive thinking or removing negative thinking? What do you reckon? Because I answered and then I quickly switched my answer and got the right one.
I don't know. I think removing negative.
Yes. Now, I first said adding positive, and so did Alan, because the thought process was you sort of flush out the negative. But it's like, say you meditated every day, did yoga, worked out every day, had your green juices, had your organic food, but you smoked like a chimney. You could still get cancer. You could still get lung cancer, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many good things you do. What matters is the bad thing.
Yes. Yeah, true.
Now, I always say, because I know from my life, I can do all the things and I can listen to all the good content and I can exercise every day and I can meditate and I can be mindful. If I have a relationship issue with one person in my life, do you know what I do? And I talked to a friend and she said she does it too. So I think there's probably lots of us. And if anyone out there listening does this too, please DM me because I want to know that more people do it. I rehearse arguments, and not yelling arguments, but it's like I know what someone's going to say to me, so I'll be doing my makeup in the bathroom and I'm actively, I don't even know, I think I say it out loud. So if Alan ever walks in, I'll be like, I'm talking in the mirror, listen.
You're just fighting.
The reason I do that is because you did this to me. And oh my God, you can't have a great life if you're holding on to something. And that's a lot of the stuff that Louise Hay talks about. She had stage 4 cancer and she healed her entire body of it. Because when you're holding on to resentment leads to cancer. Like anything, resentment or words unspoken manifest in your body as a physical ailment. If you're not getting something out and resolving something, that's why I'm always saying, if there is an issue with someone in your life, please in a very mature, emotionally mature way, talk to them and say, hey, can we have a chat about this? I feel that when you do this, I'm feeling this way. Is it possible that we could look at that and maybe do something a bit different? So their ego might catch in the beginning and they might get their back up and be like, you're picking on me, but they might go away and think about it and you might feel 10 times better just by getting it off your chest. Or if, for God's sake, if it's an abusive, toxic relationship, please leave it, do you know? But you can have all the positivity in the world, but if there's one thing that's toxic or one thing that's negative, it will affect your life.
Yeah, especially if it's over consuming everything.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean about the rehearsing the arguments. Or I'll have dreams where I'm arguing with the person, and that's when I'm like, okay, I need to address this with the person because it's clearly gotten out of hand. So it's tough, and I think a lot of people might have that with a partner or a parent because they're those pivotal relationships where you have to have them, but you just might not see eye to eye. So I really recommend getting to that, you know. And I think Lewis Howes is saying the same thing. It's like if you've got like this big stream of water and it's all, you know, filtered clean water, but you've got one little bit of toxic poison, it's still like toxic, polluted water because of that one little tiny bit.
Yeah.
So I think, mind and thought patterns, but definitely they're habitual and they're repeating. So you can do like 5 minutes of affirmations, and then if you're doing like 23 hours and 55 minutes of the day of, oh, my neck hurts, oh, I never have enough money.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not even
That's not going to
aware of
compensate
it.
for that.
Yeah. So your thought patterns, how can you flush them out? How can you make them more positive? Give them a spring clean. This is the time of new beginnings. This is a beautiful season in the earth, in your life. Flush them out, get rid of the negative and add the positive. Today is a great day. Someone I know is going through like a really bad health issue. Like it's not serious, but it's ongoing. And I was like, literally, what do you, because every day it's, oh, this is something, and I'm like, start every day and go, I am healthy and well, I'm healing every day. And when I have a physical ailment, I say that on my walks and I always get better really quick because, and I'm not saying that to anyone who's going through something really chronic, you know, that's awful, but you can really oomph your vibes.
Mindset, I think, is so important. I mean,
everything.
you know how they say comparing your life to someone else's life is really like not a great thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, watching all the Gaza stuff and all of like those kind of things, I feel so grateful like for just, you know, being able to make dinner because I'm hungry, not because like starving and I've like finally found something, you know, like
absolutely
those kind of things. Sometimes I do
Sometimes
compare, and it is
good
like,
if it's creating gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did that. I was watching something where you see sick kids and here I am having tears in the bedroom because he's screaming from colic, which is basically probably just gassy and it will pass. And I was like, I'm so grateful to have a healthy, happy child. My God, here I am, you know, thinking about how it's affecting me because I'm hearing the crying. Do you know what I mean? And it's mindset. You know how they always say switch it from I have to do this to I get to do this.
Yes.
So here I am thinking, oh, I have to set up the podcast equipment and I have to feed him. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to do a podcast on my maternity leave. I get to feed. I get to have a beautiful, healthy child and I get to feed him. I mean, last year, you know, I fell pregnant in October with him, and in September I had a miscarriage. You know, it was very brief, but like how grateful I am. Second attempt and I got this beautiful baby. So honestly, you're spot on. Mindset is everything, but see if you can take away the negative by addressing it. You know how they talk about in Harry Potter, they don't mention Voldemort's name, but Harry does because mentioning it is power. I think, you know, like on those Exorcist movies, when they name the demon, it's like it's what kills it. So I think you need to address. Sweeping things under the rug will do nothing. Sweeping things under the rug may cause health issues. Acknowledge it, try and fix it, remove the negative, add the positive. And with your mind thing, just try and change it from I have to do this to, wow, I get to do this. As you said, there are people struggling. Gaza is just, we don't even want to talk about it in a podcast like this, but it's people are struggling. People, you know, we are so blessed in our lives. So switch that mindset and have a real spring clean. We'll wrap that up there. That's it for our thing. But please reach out if you have any things that you do to spring clean your life. But it's just such a beautiful season and I'm feeling so positive and excited for it. Is there anything you plan on doing in the next week or so to fill up your cup?
Yes. So I did it just last night. We got a king. I think I told you. We got a king bed. I know.
That
I'm
is
so excited.
Major life upgrade. That's like Beyonce upgrade.
Last night was the first night we slept in the bed.
Like a baby?
Oh, I mean, like a baby in like my own.
Yeah.
I was trying to find her. I was like, I said
that. The only time I've had a king bed was in Bali and I had to commando like crawl towards him and I was like, this is actually a little bit far away. It's actually
it was
hard.
so good. It's like Snooze had like a 50% off sale. So we had like.
Best time of year.
Oh my God. It's like a $9,000 mattress.
Whoa.
I know. I mean, half price.
But mattresses last a decade.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. I just like melted into it. It was the best.
It's the best.
Sleep is so important.
You're talking to a new mum here. There is nothing more important in this world than sleep. And I completely agree. Hello, boo-boo. We're tying up now. We're wrapping up. Sleep is king. So good on you for that mattress. That's a major life upgrade. That's something I'll do
I'm an adult
when
now.
you got your big girl pants on today. When I purchase the home that I'm living in, that's definitely something I'm going to do. I don't know if you know, but you cannot have infrared saunas when you're pregnant. So this week I went back to my very first post-pregnancy. And I can tell you what, I haven't been drinking since giving birth because I didn't really miss it that much. But, oh, my God, I missed the feeling of the infrared sauna, but I missed that me time. It's a rewarding job, but it's a lot of work. It's tough and it's full on, and you're trying to eat my nipple. There's nothing in there, my friend. So I've absolutely made a point to go to at least fortnightly sessions. I've already booked my next few. So I'm just feeling great. And I just want to get my hormones back in, back into gear. And I'm already feeling well and looking much like myself again.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you, my friend.
I hope that when I have a baby, I look just repair instantly like that.
I had the most wonderful birth at the Royal Randwick, and I just had the most wonderful experience. Alan was a little bit sick, so we stayed in the hospital for 5 days instead of coming home just so we didn't catch anything. And I was so well rested. You're buzzing the midwife in the middle of the night and they come in and they help you. So I think by the time I came home, I was just well rested and ready to go. But also, I'm not breastfeeding. I wasn't able. All right, Leo's crying, so he's going to go. Bye. Say bye, everybody. I'm all hot because he's so warm. He's such a warm little human.
He did really
good. He's a tiny package, but he packs heat. He's very hot. I wasn't able to breastfeed. It was something I wanted to, but I couldn't. I knew that would happen. I don't know because I'm not a professional, but I kind of have this thing that's probably why my hormones are starting to shift back quickly. I think if you're breastfeeding for 6 to 12 months, wouldn't your body still be in that? I'll talk to the nutritionist and the naturopath about that, but I would imagine that your body's still in that phase of, because you don't even get your period when you breastfeed. So
they do breastfeeding, I think, contracts the uterus back to, I don't know.
My friends all said that happened. They lost weight because with each suck you're contracting back. But then they all said, then I put it on because you're just sitting there for hours, feeding them. So bottle feeding, I know exactly how much he has. It's easy to regulate. Alan can do it in the middle of the night. It's I'll talk about it when I do a baby episode, but it made me feel sad that I couldn't do something for him that my body should be doing, but it's also worked out logistically well, so I can still
repair well.
Yeah, and have someone share with the feeding. So for us, it worked out good. But
my sister was breastfeeding and she didn't know she didn't have any milk in. I don't know if it was both breasts or one.
How do you know, really?
Well, he was just crying all the time. They ended up taking him to the doctor and he was hungry. So as soon as she put him on formula, then he started getting bigger and that made her feel really bad.
The chunky thighs. They fatten up straight away. It's so cute. But we did I'd never heard of it until I was pregnant, but colostrum, it's like this liquid gold stuff that you get in the first few days. And the midwives would come in and manually express it. And I was like, I can't have anyone touch my breasts. It will freak me out. And I'm sitting there you're drugged up, you're full of hormones. And I'm like, the midwives were so in love with them. And Alan's like, I feel like I should leave the room. And so we did that for 2 days straight. So that I'm happy that's sort of, given he's laid the foundations for his gut health, boosted his immunity, and then day 3 we had to go to formula because he wasn't latching. My nipples are weird, so overshare. We're back. So anyway, that's it. We'll tie it up there. But so I'm so pumped to be back into the infrared sauna and just being Steph again. Love being a mum, but it's good to do stuff for yourself and feel like you're regulating your hormones and feeling well.
Get your body back as well.
It's really good.
It's yours now.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful time of year, So we love spring. Thanks so much for being here as always, and congratulations on your engagement to you and Priska. That's just the most beautiful, exciting news. Major life updates for you and I, so it's been a big one. Thanks everyone for listening. Have an amazing week. Until the next one, do something to fill up your cup. Bye. There is no resource more valuable than time, and I thank you for spending your time with us today. Your voice is so important, and we would love to hear which topics you would like discussed in future episodes. Please reach out via Instagram at Can I Get a Refill Podcast or on our private Facebook group to let us know. If you enjoyed this or previous episodes, we would be so grateful if you could please subscribe, rate, and review to help our voices continue to be heard. Catch you in the next episode.